Right. Hi, Antoine. Thank you for speaking to me today. The first thing I wanted to ask you is, were you involved in music before you was in your band Spaced Out?
Before Spaced Out, yeah, Spaced Out started in the late 90s. I was experimenting with different musicians then in Canada. I was just learning music. I was transcribing a lot of music. Finally, I decided, well, I'm going to start my own band and try my compositions with local musicians. And so we started to record in the late 90s. And the first album actually came out in the year 2000.
And then you decided to go it on your own in 2010. So what made you come to that decision?
After 10 years with Spaced Out, I realized it was a fun experience. We released 5 studio albums, 2 DVDs, a live album. It was fun. It was a bunch of friends working together.
Yeah.
But after a while, I realized that we all have different paths in life, and I realized that the concept of band didn't apply anymore. I find it a little limiting, and I always wanted to explore and try to collaborate with different people, different musicians, and I thought, I'm still friends with the guys in Spaced Out. It was just a question of starting to work with different people and not limit myself to a specific format. So this is what I started 3 years ago, and I'm still working under that formula.
Okay, so with your latest album, where did you get the inspiration from to write your latest album? Is there a story behind it, or?
There's no inspiration, I would say, for the whole album. I think it's always one song at a time. So each song has its different origin, different source of inspiration. I may be listening to something and I kept one element of a song I find interesting, then I want to take that element and explore it or develop it in my own ways. Or perhaps I may think about a beat or think about something rhythmical, or it's very difficult to say where it comes or how it comes. It kind of just happens. But I would say it's not a concept album, so I never worked out that way as such. It's always a song at a time, and I did write a little bit about that in the booklet. I kind of give a little bit of insight on each song and what's the origin. We realize it's never the same formula, it's never the same thing, really.
Excellent. I mean, you've got a vast array of legendary musicians on the album, so what made you pick their names out of the hat to be on the album with you? Is it their work, or...?
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, I'm a fan of all the musicians on my album. I'm an admirer of their work, so it was a no-brainer. What I did is I wrote a list of everybody I want to work with, a dream list, really. And then my next step was really to write music for those musicians. And once that was done, I then contacted them with a specific song in mind, because you may approach someone and say, "Oh, do you want to work with me?" If the answer is yes, but what do you have? If you have nothing, then you're in a position where it's productive. So the way I work is I really compose music with a musician in mind, and then I approach that musician. And I mean, it may sometimes not work. I might not be able to reach that musician or not, so I have to find an alternative. But I was lucky. For my album, I approached Scott Henderson, a fan of his work. He's a great player, and I wasn't sure if he was going to say yes, but he did. So I was really pleased about that. So short answer is, I'm a fan of all the players on this album, and there are 15 of them, 15 guests in total. 11 tracks, 15 guests.
That's excellent. I mean, I've read bits and pieces they've written about it, and they thoroughly enjoyed it. They were really impressed with your work on that. I mean, it's a beautiful composition. Did you have any theme or mood when you were trying to capture whilst you were writing it, or is it, as you said, the inspiration come to you over the course of time?
It's very eclectic. That's why it's not the same song 11 times. It's very difficult to pigeonhole what I do. It varies so much. I mean, my previous album was very focused on the acoustic guitar, and this time around, I guess it's a little bit more aggressive. But let's put it this way: it's an album you'll put in the background and have a conversation on top of it. It does require the full attention.
Yeah, you've got to listen and focus, and
I think so. Yeah. It's pretty intense. I think it's a real journey. You have to concentrate, and it may be so intense that you might not be able to take the whole album in one go. It's an hour of music. It's pretty intense.
But that's good music, isn't it? Because you can listen to it and then you listen to it again and you hear different bits of pieces that you never heard previously.
I think it's great when you have to listen to something and discover new things each time you listen to it, and you may concentrate on different players on the album, and there are so many ways to listen to something. It is challenging for the listener, but in a good way.
Oh, excellent. Do you have a favourite song on it at all?
Favorite song, I mean, it's difficult again, but I guess the very first track on the CD is called Peace for Four. Peace as in P-A-C-E. It's a play with words, it's all in 4/4. Time signature doesn't change, but it is rhythmically kind of tricky. The first time you listen to it, you wonder what's going on a little bit, I think. And I've got Gavin Harrison, great drummer who played with Porcupine Tree and King Crimson on this, and he did a fantastic job. I hope I can work with him again. And Jerry Goodman, violinist, most famous for playing with the National Orchestra in the 70s. This song kind of, I think, represents well what I do. I mean, the melodic element is there, the rhythmical element, intricacy is there. I did a music video around it as well. And
beautiful track. It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
It's if you had a free hand to cover any track, any at all, what would it be?
It's a tricky one. It's an interesting question because I really have to think about it carefully, and because there are so much music I love, and at the moment I'm rehearsing with a band, and we do a couple of covers from Tony Williams' Believe It album that was released in the mid-70s with Alan Holdsworth, Alan Pasqua, and the song's called Fred, and there's another song called Protocosmos. I mean, these are two examples of many, really. I think, to me, a cover is nice, but also the next step is how can you take a cover and develop it into something else.
Yeah.
But, I mean, these are just a couple of examples.
It's making it your own, isn't it?
Yeah, I think ideally that's what you want to do.
Yeah. Is there a musician that you would like to work with that you haven't worked with?
Well, the list is very long.
Oh, is it?
I would say, if I had to name just a few, I would say Alan Holdsworth is one of them.
Yeah.
Great guitarist. Jeff Beck is another great guitarist I would love to.
Oh, he's brilliant, isn't he?
Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah.
So many. Vinnie Colaiuta, a great drummer who played with Sting and with everybody, I think. The most famous studio musician in the world. That would be amazing. But the list is long. I mean,
you'd have a big stage, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what's next for Antoine? Are you writing again? Or?
Well, I'm always working on new music. At the moment, I have some basic ideas. There are some musicians I'm in contact at the moment that I will collaborate with this summer. That's one thing. But also have a band in the UK. We're rehearsing at the moment. I think in the very near future we'll play a few dates this summer. And,
wonderful.
Hopefully that will take off, and I will work on new music. That's pretty much what's coming up.
So the details of your new album, and where can anybody get your album? And
well, for those who are old school and like the CD, my album is available in the UK via a distributor called Code 7, and also Amazon.co.uk.
Yeah.
And on my website, Antoine Fafard, Fafard.com, you will find me. That's for the physical CD.
Yeah.
And it's, of course, available everywhere on iTunes, Amazon MP3, and all the others. And it's also available via stream.
Excellent. Quite a few places they can access that.
It's everywhere.
Is there anything you would like to say, Antoine? Then please do. Anything you'd like to add?
Well, I just want to thank you for the opportunity, Sylvia. That was great.
Oh, you're very welcome.
I just want to thank anyone who takes the time to listen to my music. It's great that because we live in an age where people sometimes don't have a lot of attention to listen. So I understand my music requires a little bit of attention. So anyone who takes the time to listen, I appreciate that. And of course, I appreciate any feedback. So if anyone wants to tell me what they think, be frank. I'm on Facebook, and email me. It's always great to have an exchange on music. Yeah, thank you again for the opportunity today.